My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. What I have here is the AquaQuest Safari Hybrid Medium Duty 20 feet by 13 feet tarp. This is a product that I've been testing out for over 2 years. And in this episode, I'm going over the pros and cons and my experiences with this product. And I'm going to share with you all why I recommend it, why I can give it a thumbs up, why I can say this is a good product. The tarp comes with this stuffed sack. Down at the bottom, you have a hand hold, you have some webbing on the side. Up here at the top, you have a pull next to a draw pull that closes the bag. The stored dimensions of this tarp is 17 by 7 by 3. And with that being said, everyone, I'm going to set this up real quick. I'll bring you all back in just a minute. One should have no misconceptions about this tarp. This thing is huge. 20 feet by 13 feet. It's massive. The tarp has been set up, and I set this up using some green elephant poles and some 550 cord. And you can see just how much space a tarp like this offers. It is massive. Underneath the tarp like this, you have a ton of livable space and a lot of protection. Again, everyone, this is a 20 foot by 13 foot tarp. The weight of this tarp is 4 pounds, 11.4 ounces. As far as the materials go, you're looking at a 70 denier ripstop nylon, and it has been dual coated with silicone and polyurethane. According to AquaQuest, it features a 5,000 millimeter hydrostatic head rating. And with this tarp, you can find it in numerous colors, including olive drab, Boulder Camo, Woodland Camo, what the company calls true terrain camo, and more. You can also find this tarp in numerous sizes, just in case this is too big for you. They have a 10 by 7, they have a 10 by 10, they have a 13 by 10, a 15 by 15, and the 20 by 13. There's also numerous versions of this tarp that the company offers. And when I say versions, I mean like levels of strength and waterproofness. They have the Defender, which is the strongest and the heaviest, and it also has the highest hydrostatic head rating. Speaking of which, that rating is 20,000. Then you have the middle tarp, and that's the Safari Hybrid. This tarp features a 5,000 millimeter hydrostatic head rating. Then you have the Guide tarp. That is the lightest weight and the least expensive. When looking at the tarps that the company offers, this is right in the middle of terms of weight, strength, and waterproofness. And in my opinion, this is the right way to go. It's not too heavy, but yet it's strong enough, it's waterproof enough. Now let's talk about the price for a second. At the AquaQuest website, at the time of filming, $214. On Amazon, $200. This tarp features 25 tie-off points that go around the body and also across the body. Each of those tie-off points feature reinforced sewing. In addition to the tie-off points, you also have 6 lantern loops. The tarp has been seam taped, and also, folks, it includes a lifetime warranty. Taking a second here to talk about my use of this tarp, I have used this in so many different ways. I've used it as a sort of awning over the back of my truck. I've taken it out into the forest and I used it for protection during strong storms. Sometimes I sleep on the ground, sometimes I set up a tent inner. All of these combinations work. The size of this tarp allows for an amazing degree of versatility. And folks, we might as well, since I'm saying this, we might as well jump to the review portion and start with the pros here. And I should say this, my list of pros is quite long. First off, the quality of this tarp is absolutely top notch. As I mentioned before, each of the tie-offs feature reinforced stitching. I've never had an issue when it comes to leaking. Everything's held up incredibly well, no matter what I put this through. And I have put this tarp through numerous storms. Not only snowstorms, but also severe thunderstorms with strong wind and lots of rain. No matter what I've done with this tarp, it has put up with it. And it shows no sign of wear other than being dirty. I mentioned before the versatility of this tarp, and that is exceptionally true. I mean, with a little bit of know-how, you can set this thing up in so many different ways. And because there's so many different tie-off points, you can come up with all sorts of combinations, even if you're in a restrictive area. And what I mean by that is this. Let's say that you go out into a forest and like the tree placement's just not working out for you, right? There's so many tie-offs here that you can have like this side coming out and this side coming down, or maybe coming out and then down. You really can come up with some very unique and very useful setups with this tarp. Because of the massive size of this tarp, it offers a ton of protection for one person or even a group. You can use it to block wind, block rain, block sun. Even in nasty conditions, everyone and everything underneath this tarp can stay dry with the right setup. Now, of course, You have to have the right know-how. That's important. Next up, the price of this tarp is not bad. Yes, $200 is very expensive, but for a tarp this strong, this waterproof, with this many features, in my opinion, it's worth the price. There are cheap tarps out there, but from my personal experience, they don't last as long. And when you put them in extreme situations, they tear. Trust me, I know. Another pro that I have for this tarp, or I should say with the company, is that they offer 3 different versions, so you can get the right version for you, the right level of strength. Here in the mountains of North Carolina in the summertime, the Safari Hybrid works perfectly. It's the perfect strength for our elevation and the typical storms that pop up here. In the wintertime, I would go with the Defender, and that's because we have exceptionally strong winds up here in the mountains. 100 miles per hour, it's possible on the mountaintops, and even higher. But let's say that you don't plan to go out into any storms, you can get the Guide Tarp, or the Safari Tarp, whatever you want. You can basically choose the level of strength and the level of waterproofing that you want, that you need. And as you go down in those levels, the price goes down. Or if you go up to the Defender, the price goes up. Another pro that I have for this tarp is weight. At only 4 pounds, 11 whatever ounces, this is not too heavy considering the size of this. I have smaller tarps that actually weigh more than this. So all in all, the weight's not bad. Talking about storms, everyone, I think one is coming. It is getting dark. And let me tell you, it is hot and humid. Right now, we are in the middle of a heat wave, and it is something else. Anyways, the cons that I have for this tarp are as follows. You really do have to consider the size of this tarp, not only when it comes to like setting it up and the difficulties that come with such a large tarp. When you go out into the forest with the trees and whatnot, the size of the tarp, it does matter, because the larger the tarp, the more difficult the setup. You may have issues with the placement of trees and whatnot, so you have to become creative. It does take experience, so keep that in mind. Something else to think about in regards to the size of the tarp is drying it off. Let's say that you go out for a trip, it's soaking wet, you go home. Do you have the space to set this up and to let it dry? 20 by 13 feet? That is huge, and you will need a ton of space. You should ask yourself, do you want to mess? Do you want to fool with a tarp this big? Because it is a chore to work with when it comes to like setting it up to dry off. And also to set it up in the forest. It takes time, it takes experience, all of which you can learn. These issues here are rather minor, but they need to be considered. An additional con that I have for this tarp is the overall storage size. It kind of goes hand in hand with the size of the tarp, but you should keep in mind that this is going to take up quite a bit of space inside of your backpack. When you have the tarp stored, it is 17 inches long, 7 inches by 3 inches. So that's a very good size. It's quite a bit of space taken up inside of your backpack. Those, my friends, are the pros and cons that I have for the AquaQuest Safari Hybrid Tarp. When it comes to summarizing my review, it is this. I absolutely love this tarp. I love everything about it. The weight is not bad. The size is incredible. It offers a ton of protection. It's super versatile. You can use it any way that you want to. You can use it with your vehicle as an awning. I've done this. You guys have seen my adventures with it. I like taking it out into the woods and using it all by myself. Yes, it's a ton of space, but hey, it's a ton of dry space. It's a ton of protection. When it comes to using a tarp, as far as like the setup process goes, especially with something this big, it is going to take time. It's going to take some experience, but you will get it. You will discover just how many different ways that you can set this up and just how adaptable it is. You do not have to have the perfect campsite. In most cases, when you're out in nature, there is no such thing. In the end, folks, I give this product a thumbs up. I highly recommend it. Do consider the size though, and the pros and cons that come with it. So my question for you all is this: do you need a tarp this big? 20 feet by 13 feet. It's a monster. It's huge. AquaQuest is one of those companies that really has earned my respect over the years. They make fantastic tarps, the best of the best in my opinion, and I use them year round. I take out the Defender in the wintertime when I need strength. I take out the Safari in the summer when I need protection from the rain and from the wind. The company simply makes excellent products, and they include a lifetime warranty. That is pretty rare. Their tarps aren't the cheapest, but the quality is second to none. That wraps up my review, everyone. Hit the thumbs up before you go because it does help the channel. You can support The Outdoor Gear Review on YouTube, on Patreon. You can join the Wolf Pack. The channel is agenda free. I don't care if you buy this. That's not what this is about. I don't get any sort of kickbacks, no commissions. The Outdoor Gear Review is about sharing information, and that's it. So, folks, take care, be well, strength and honor. Man, I hope it rains. Now that I have this done, let it rain. Bye, everybody.